There's a new COVID variant getting a lot of attention right now, and it will be blowing up over the next week on the news, on the TV, worldwide. It's called Delta Plus, or the Delta Plus variant. I'm going to break it all down for you so you can understand what's really going on. Hey everyone, I'm James. I cover trending medical data and I break it down for you into easy to understand lectures. That way you have the most important trending medical data at your disposal. I have a strong background in medicine, research, and statistics. Also, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell in the bottom right-hand corner to be notified when my new videos come out. Also, you can support my research below by clicking the link that says Buy Me a Coffee. I'd really appreciate it. This is very time-consuming. So let me show you what you should know about this, and of course, I'll post all of my research below. First, let's open the CDC website so I can show you how to understand and read these variants. If you scroll down to the highlighted area and it says VOC, variants of concern, what we're interested in here is what's highlighted, okay? That says AY lineages. That means variants that begin with the letters AY. In this case, the variant AY.4.2. Let me explain what all of that means. Hold on, let me open up this graphic real quick. Okay. AY.4 just means Delta variant. There was A1, A2, A3, and now A4 Delta variant. Now, if you look over here to the right, the 0.2 is the subvariant. In simpler terms, that just means the version of it and its particular mutations. With that said, we're looking at Delta AY.4 with subvariant 0.2's mutations or changes, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, now let me open this data from the UK. This is called SARS-CoV-2 variants of concern, and this is from England. This is data released from the UK/England. Let's open up page 3, okay? I want you to look at this. Okay, so check out the area that's highlighted here, okay? Delta remains the predominant variant, accounting for approximately 99.8% of sequenced cases in England as of October 11th, 2021. So this data accounts for all of these variant cases up until October 11th, which is pretty recent. Also, if we keep reading, a Delta sublineage, right below here that's highlighted, a Delta sublineage newly designated as AY.4.2 is noted to be expanding in England. So basically what they're saying is this is now worth monitoring and they're going to keep an eye on it. Now, according to this data, about 14,272 new cases of COVID in England are of this new variant to date, okay? That means since it was spotted back in July 2021, the UK, England has found approximately 14,272 new cases of this variant. This is about 8% of all new COVID cases out of the UK as of October 11th. So that means this makes up 10% of all new cases now. Of all the variants, the data suggests this one is emerging very quickly compared to the others. So let's look at the continent that I live on, USA. Hold on, let's pull this up. The United States to date has only found 5 sequenced cases of the Delta Plus variant. So one case was found in Massachusetts, another in California, one in Washington State, one in North Carolina, and one in Washington, D.C. All of this is important because the trends that emerge in the UK out of Europe often end up finding their way to the United States. For example, the vaccines we give in the United States for the flu every year, they target the variants that are seen in Europe first. Also, it's really important to point out that the UK and England do way more viral sequencing than the USA does. Hence the 14,000 reported cases of a new variant when we're only showing 5 in the States here. That explains why we only have a handful of cases of that Delta variant plus AY.4.2 in the United States. We need to improve on that here. So let's open up page 22 of this report, and I'm going to highlight the area that I'm about to read. This sublineage is currently increasing in frequency. It includes spike mutations A22V and Y.4.2. I know this all sounds very, very complicated, but it's not. Let me explain. First, you need to understand that a mutation is just a change the virus has made within the Delta variant, at least in this case. So for example, you have this Delta Plus variant, aka AY.4.2, and within that, the following mutations or changes were found. Let me bring the names of the changes up on the screen so you can better understand it. Hold on one second. Okay, the changes are called A22V and Y.4.2. Check out the first one that I wrote in big letters, A22V. This is the mutation, and now I'm going to explain what it means. Well, the letter A, you can see here, actually represents an amino acid. An amino acid is like a Lego. Alone, one Lego doesn't represent much, but the sum total of Legos can make a Lego castle, right? Basically, so it's just a building block. So in this case, in this diagram, A22V, it's saying the A, which is the alanine amino acid, has been changed to another amino acid labeled as V, or valine, at the 222nd position in the chain of Legos, essentially. Now, because the Lego structure is slightly different, the function now changes. So what exactly changes? Well, when you look below, what does this mean? I have this in red. It means the spike protein is slightly changed on the virus. So I bet you're wondering, what the heck is the spike protein? Well, the spike proteins are those little spikes that come out of the virus and allow it to infect our cells and attach to our cells, right? So when they mutate, they look a little different to our body, and because they look a little different, it might be easier for us to get reinfected. You see, if a virus infects us, our bodies can produce things to help us fight it and remember it for the next time. Some of those things are called antibodies you've heard of, lymphocytes, memory cells, killer T cells, interferons, cytokines. If you become naturally infected with something, you end up with very broad and robust immunity in the form of everything that I just named a second ago, because your body experienced every piece of that virus's genetic material. So hold on to that. However, there is much data to show that if you only have exposure to a vaccine, your body can only really target a very small part of the virus, which is what the vaccine intended to begin with. So that's not necessarily the best protection, but it can help reduce severity of symptoms substantially. So next, let's talk about the good and the bad. The good. There is no evidence to suggest that this new variant will make current treatments like the vaccines we have less effective quite yet. Next, the director of the CDC, Michelle Walensky, she stated as of mid last week, there were no clusters of this new variant seen in the United States. That is good news. Also, the data we currently have doesn't suggest that this variant will be as transmissible as the Alpha and Delta variants that we just were dealing with over the past year and a half. Next, I'm going to pull up an image. If you look, it shows those mutations I just told you about. This shows that they don't fall into the receptor binding domain and don't seem to be candidates for immune escape. That just means with both the current treatments available and how our immune systems have been handling this variant so far naturally, it doesn't seem to leave us very vulnerable quite yet, or at all. So time will tell. Next, let's talk about the bad news. The prevalence of this variant is increasing rapidly. So what's my take on this? It's better to be educated about this than not. It's not something to be supremely concerned about right now. You really need to focus on the things that are within your control. That will help your immune system if anything. So what are you eating? How's your diet? Are you exercising? Are you sleeping? Are you being stressed, spending your time around toxic people who are creating nothing but problems? You need to concentrate on the things that you can control. Stop worrying about the things that you cannot. What is going to happen is going to happen. There is robust amounts of information in the medical journals to show if you take care of the things that I just talked about a second ago, your exercise routines, you increase appropriate foods that are great for your immune system, and you cut down the amount of stress via toxic relationships, these all improve the biodiversity of your microbiome. That just means that's a very good natural way to boost your immune system. Those are the things that you can control. Worry about that. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. And you know what? You're better informed than not informed. And in the future, if there's anything you'd like to learn about, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.